question. Can snoring make you overweight? This is a big question because we have to start off with some definitions here. Snoring, which we all know is the sound we make when we're sleeping with our tongue and the soft palate rubbing up against each other making that noise. Now, snoring can be a sign of a bigger problem called sleep apnea. Okay? Sleep apnea is a cessation of breathing. Your airway closes off totally for 10 or more seconds. Or it could be your airway becomes so shallow that your oxygen level in your body drops. Well, if we have sleep apnea, we know that can cause weight gain, increase in leptin levels, which makes us hungrier. Okay? Now, coming back to the original question, can snoring make you overweight? Well, snoring not necessarily means you have apnea. However, research is showing recently that if you have snoring and it continues, you will eventually have sleep apnea. So we can correlate snoring and sleep apnea pretty closely together, even though it's not absolutely mandatory. Now, sleep apnea and snoring is a neuromuscular disorder. That means there's not enough muscle tone in the muscles in our throat and tongue to keep them taut and upright and not collapse. Okay? So when we have that, and then we had overweight, when we have a lot of tissue that's swollen, that can cause the airway to close even further, either vibrate or just completely close altogether. Well, this interruption in our sleep can actually increase our leptin levels, which is the hormone involved in making us hungry and metabolizing our fat. So what happens is over time, even though we're not hungry, even though we don't have the use for it, even though we didn't go and run the 10K marathon, we find ourselves hungrier, and we don't really think about it. We don't think, well, I don't know why I should be hungry. I haven't been doing anything to justify it. We just feel hunger, and we just go from that and we eat. Well, that overeating tends to give us more weight, and that more weight will make the tissues collapse more, which will make us snore more, which will make us have apnea more, which will then increase our leptin levels yet again. So it becomes this vicious cycle that can be very damaging in the long run. Is snoring, what the hell was the question? Can snoring make you overweight?
Okay, do it again.
Okay, is that what that the question?
Yes.
Can snoring, okay. So, let me get this.
It's all right.
This always happens with us. Okay. And I want to be serious because this is a serious problem, and I want to be taken seriously.
Deadly serious.
Yeah.
There you go.
It sounds comical when you say it now.
Deadly serious.
Why did you have to say it like that? Okay.
Deadly serious.
Okay. Can snoring cause you to become overweight? Well, to answer that, we need to make some definitions. Okay? Snoring, I said okay. Could snoring cause you to be overweight? Well, to answer that question, we're going to have to make some definitions. Snoring is the act of our tongue and soft palate and our throat vibrating up against each other, making the sound. But snoring could be related to something more severe called sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is when the airway completely closes off, or when it's so shallow that it causes an oxygen desaturation. Now, snoring will eventually lead, if you have snoring long enough, it will eventually lead to sleep apnea, latest research has shown. But sleep apnea not necessarily means you have snoring. Okay? Now, the issue with this is when we have these interruptions in our sleep, when we have these apneic events, this causes the leptin levels in our blood to rise. Leptin is the hormone that guides our hunger and our fat metabolism. So we feel more hungry even though we didn't do anything to justify the hunger. We didn't run that 10K. We didn't take the stairs on our way to work. We just went ahead and ate more because we felt hungrier. Well, as we feel hungrier, as we eat more, even though we don't have the caloric need, we gain weight. We put on fat. Well, that extra weight collapses the tissues even more. Our tongue swells. We get the little teeth marks on the sides of our tongue. And all that weight just collapses the airway more, making us snore more. Can secondhand smoking... No, Alright. Can secondhand snoring be causing you problems? Well, everyone knows about the dangers of secondhand smoke, but I have yet to hear anyone talk about the dangers of secondhand snoring. We can all relate to this, as we all have a friend or a spouse that snores that can keep us up at night. This has happened to almost everyone that I know that has a partner. Secondhand snoring can cause interruptions in our sleep cycles, and the interruptions alone can cause a myriad of health problems. The Mayo Clinic has just published a wonderful study showing the effects of spontaneous pain, where the spouse of the snorer feels pain that they didn't have before, feels fatigue towards the end of the day, feels irritable and anxious throughout the day because their bed partner has been interrupting them with their snoring on average of 21 times per hour. The snorer themselves have been interrupting themselves 27 times per hour. And when the treatment for the snorer has been taken, the spouse has reported the resolution of their spontaneous pain, resolution of their irritable and grouchy behavior, and overall well-being.
2, 3.
Can secondhand snoring be causing you health problems? Everyone has heard of secondhand smoking and all the dangers associated with it, but very few people talk about the dangers of snoring and secondhand snoring that bed partners must endure. A recent study in the Mayo Clinic have found that spouses of snorers exhibited high levels of anxiety, spontaneous pains, meaning aches and ouches in their body, and irritable and
Stop.